Welcome to the Higher Ed Podcast. I'm Andrea Backman, president of Strayer University. This podcast is about work, careers, and economic mobility. In this episode, I talk with Byron Garrett, a true Renaissance man with deep roots in education, government, and business. Byron has fantastic insights on work, and in this episode, we'll talk about the ability to pivot during your career. This is Higher Ed. Let's talk about the ability to pivot. I know this is the sense of agility, et cetera, employers are seeking. You've done a lot of that in your own career and personal life. Talk about why all the pivots and what you've learned from the pivoting.
In my case, I didn't just shift roles.
Right.
I actually shifted industries. And so for me, being in education or being in government or being in nonprofit spaces or being in fashion, the totality of those experiences help keep me happy. And so I think in this day and age for folks throughout their career, you should think about the opportunity to shift. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying you go work somewhere 6 months and you start somewhere else 6 months later. I believe you do need to say, here are the goals that I wanted to accomplish, because you want to be able to talk about what did and did not work through those experiences. And you always want to have a track record of accomplishments to say, even though I may have only been there a year or I was there 3 years, this is what I was able to accomplish in that period of time. And we know that if I were there longer, that would probably be a multiplier in terms of what I delivered. One of my former bosses at U.S. Customs and Border Protection, I had worked in the federal government. I was at USDA, got asked, hey, we're creating this chief of staff slot, and your skill set and your ability is going to fit this particular role. Can you do it? And I was candid. I said, I'll come over and take the role. I'm excited about that. But more importantly, I just started an interview process to be CEO of the National PTA, the Parent Teacher Association. He said, okay. I said, their search is going to take 6 to 8 months. So I just want you to know that should I get that role, I'm going to leave the federal government. And I just want to be honest, because I'm a person of integrity. I don't want him to be surprised. Meanwhile, I'm taking my role as chief of staff, making significant changes, all the things that he set out and said he wanted to accomplish. Literally at the end of the 6th month, I get a call saying, guess what? You finished the interviews. You are the person. You're going to become the next CEO of the National Parent Teacher Association. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. And I'm also freaking out. How do I go tell him? But thankfully, I had the conversation early on. And his response to me has stuck with me to this day. He said, Byron, it was better to have had you for 6 or 7 months than not to have had your talent at all. And so don't excuse yourself from making the pivot because you think it's going to have a negative impact. That's when I say the universe oftentimes rises up to meet you, but you've got to take that first step knowing that it's possible.
To be proactively candid in a situation like that, you didn't need to do that. And that ability to be candid in the right way makes a huge difference. So thank you for sharing, and thank you for being here today. To hear more of my interview with Byron Garrett and other fascinating guests, listen to Higher Ed wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram.